Welcome back to the most game-changing 79 build you'll see on YouTube. For years, I've always said I'd hated the 79 series, so I went and bought one. And over the next few months, I'm going to be building this cruiser to decide, do I really hate them or am I a secret Land Cruiser lover? Previously, we bought this 2009 single cab 79 series ute. It was in pretty bad shape, but that's what we want to start with as we fully rebuild this thing from the ground up. And in this episode, we finally make some performance upgrades on the Cummins, ready for a bit of boost. We also get the most insane interior I've ever seen in a 79 series. We finally make a decision on the front diff and what we're going to do there. We round it out with some internal work on the 8-speed to make it work for the conversion. Okay, first and foremost in this episode, team, is we need to get this Cummins ready for boost. So this is a 6BT from the guys at EPC. Now it is a 6BT 12 valve with a common rail fuel pump. So already it is a very rare engine, but it's got to run super smooth and super quiet. But we've got an upgraded whole set turbo. I'll put which turbo it is on the screen. I think it's like a 351 W or X or something. Anyway, this has the potential to make over 1,000 Newton meters of torque, probably more. We're gonna go for like 1,200, 1,300, all right? So what we need to do is sort out valve springs and head studs. Now I've got some ARP head studs here and some upgraded valve springs, but what we need to do is remove the old ones, and also the pedestals that the rockers sit on need to be machined and modified for the head studs. So what I'm gonna do now is rip off these valve covers, get in there, take the bits off, send them off to the machine shop, and then when we get them back, we can install the new studs. Sorry guys, it is actually freezing in Queensland this morning and my camera's fogging up, so apologies for that. So I was just making it way through each cylinder on the Cummins. It was a bit of a repetitive process. Once I worked out how the first one came apart, I basically replicated that for all the other 5 cylinders. Take it into town. Okay, all the pedestals are now been removed and the rockers taken off of them. Now I'll chuck up on the screen what has to be taken off. So these are gonna take down to probably Turn World Engineering. They'll chuck it in their mill and just shave a bit of that material off. I believe it is for the head studs, because they are a stud design now with the nut. It needs a bit of extra room and clearance. So I think that's why it's got to be done. But the boys from EPC, it had to be done. They said they could send some out, or I just get a machine myself. So I'll just drop them off to the shop and get them sorted. So once they're back, we will hopefully be able to put valve springs in and the head studs at the same time, and that'll complete the upgrades for the power mods. Okay guys, I think I just heard the postie rock up and there's something. Yes, it is. I knew this stuff was coming and it's finally arrived. Probably some of the biggest packages I'm gonna get for this build. I know what's in this one, but I don't know what's in that one. Let's get them on the bench and open them up. We're gonna do a little unboxing here because this is exciting. Okay guys, while I undo this very special box, I'm gonna tell you about PVS. I don't know if you remember a couple of episodes ago, I said Jamie's literally hand delivering this thing. He went overseas and got this particular piece and brought it home with him on the plane. What a legend. So PVS stands for Power Vision Sound, and they have been around for years. They're one of the pioneers when it comes to early tech in these cruisers. And Jamie is a good mate of mine, and he's been itching for me to get a cruiser. And he said, Sam, one day when you get a 79, mate, you let me know. And he's actually probably become one of the major sponsors for this build. So we do a massive shout out to Jamie and PVS. I remember I did a rig rundown on his portaled cruiser. That thing was off its head back in the day. Portals, 40s, lifted. He nearly rolled the thing when we were filming. Pretty crazy. But they are the go-to when it comes to aftermarket parts of 79 series, and in particular interiors, and that's why I know what's in this box. We got a dash, baby. Now I got a message from his partner who hijacked their page, and she literally said, ha ha ha, there's a lot of stuff in that box. Jamie just kept throwing stuff in like it was Christmas, and it feels like Christmas in July opening this right now. So there's a ton of boxes in here that I'm not gonna know what's in them until I get deeper into this. Oh, fresh lights. So the cornerstone of their business is obviously like your lights, your steering wheels, your dash units, you get your big Tesla screens. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here. Blacked out door handles. He's built a lot of cruisers with insane interiors. There's your head unit, I think. Oh, this steering wheel, guys. We're gonna look at this straight away. Alcantara. And this is why this whole interior is gonna work really well with my Ricky seats. We've gone for that black Alcantara. This feels so nice, and I'm hoping we got a dash to match. Let me tell you, there ain't many cruisers in Australia with a dash like this. Oh. Look at that, guys. I shouldn't be doing this, but I want to put the dash in so bad in the car. But I've just realized the back side of the Alcantara one doesn't have all the vents and stuff in. So what I'm going to do now is head through and basically take all the stuff that's behind the original dash and convert it over to the Alcantara one. All the holes, brackets, everything should line up perfectly. And then we may be able to throw it in the car, even though it's not time, but I just want to see what it looks like. I got ahead of myself and I've just thrown the dash in. It probably has to come out again because I still got to do some wiring stuff, but it is looking that good. I need to leave this airbag situation out because there's some plugs in there I still need to access. But I'm gonna go ahead and just keep throwing some bits on. I just want to see what this is gonna look like. It's just so nice, the Alcantara. So that bit's thrown on. I've thrown a couple of bolts in through the top. So it's basically bolted in. Now, if it doesn't need to come out, job done, but I got a feeling I may have to remove it for something, I don't know. I really need to think ahead about what electrical things I've got going on. We obviously need to run some power up to the roof, possible roof console. We've got the rear vision mirror, which is a reverse camera, blah, 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 stereo, locker switches, that kind of stuff. Let's just keep putting it together and see what it looks like. It's not that hard to pull off. It takes like 10 minutes if I do need to get it off again. This is one of those times where I probably should have waited to put all this together because I know it's going to have to come off again, but I was just too keen to see what this dash and full interior is going to look like when it's fully complete. I was absolutely stoked with the finished result. This interior is going to be a really nice place to hang out in. Wow, you guys, I am really impressed. This dash looks incredible. Now, it's all just kind of thrown together, like none of it's clipped in properly, like this is all kind of floating, none of that's hooked up. Now, I just wanted to figure out what we need to do to finish this thing off. So, this column surround is factory. We need to paint that black, same with this piece here. To be honest, it actually looks all right in gray. I might leave it gray. But yeah, that needs to be sorted, that needs to be sorted. Work out what switches we got going here. We've got to like fully wire up the stereo. There'll be some extra switches we can put in here for lockers and stuff. Now, center console, it looks like the gear shifts around. Whatever I do with the auto, we'll get that wrapped in Alcantara as well. All these back pieces along the back here, up the walls, they can all be painted black. Get a black roof lining as well. So now I've worked out what bits I need. We've obviously got more black carpet coming from the guys at Car Builders, so that's getting sorted. So I've pretty much figured out what bits I need. One thing's for sure though, this is going to be a really nice place to hang out. A cruiser that feels comfortable, modern, sleek, not an old bunky farm truck anymore. So if you do want to do any interior upgrades, go to Jamie from PVS. He's been doing this stuff for years. He's got all the bits you need, and you too can have an awesome Alcantara, high-tech, modern interior, just like this one. Just start with a steering wheel, at least. These things have just absolutely changed the way the car feels. And all the buttons work too, by the way. Bluetooth to your head unit. We're gonna move on now from interior stuff. I'm gonna go on to the diff. I finally decided what I'm doing with this front diff, and then we can get back onto painting those bits as well. A decision has been made, finally, on the front diff. Thanks to your guys' comments and input. I did ask for your advice in the last episode. God forbid, that could have gone terribly wrong. But you actually came up with a legitimate answer. There was an overwhelming response of, Sam, use the diff you've got. If you're gonna change it anyway down the track, why spend the money twice? So we're gonna use this diff, do the brace kit. It's not 100%, but it's gonna get us out of trouble for the next few months. Now also, got a message from a legend online. Let me just find his bloody name. We've got to give him a shout out here. Prime Customs. Now, they are in Brisbane, which is close to me, and he can do diff straightening. There was a post of him literally straightening a 79 series diff, and it got shared to me, and then he ended up messaging me, and he's gonna help me out with just making sure that this thing ain't too bent. So we don't even know if it's bent, right? But what we're gonna do is do the welding, which will probably bend it a little bit more, and then once all the bracing's been done, take it down to him and he will get it straight again, and then we're good to go. So let's get these knuckles off, get the bare housing, see what we're working with, and rip into getting this diff ready for the cruiser. You can kind of tell by the way that this diff is coming apart that it's in really poor condition. But look, end of the day, it's just a big chunk of metal. Once everything's stripped and all the parts that are moving are replaced with new gear, give it a lick of paint and I think it'll be fine for the next few months. Okay, I got all the diff pretty much disassembled now, and I went through and started cleaning it up and marked out where the welds are gonna go, grinded that back. So Superior Engineering actually do various brace kits for these. This is a real simple one, just kind of a bottom brace and then a couple of side ones for your knuckles, one for your drain plug and that, but they do have other versions that involve like hydro bump stop, landing plates and all that kind of stuff. But super lucky, I just got off the phone to the guy from Prime Customs who reached out about straightening this, and he's like, dude, let me straighten it. Have you put the brace kit on? I was like, no. And he's like, let me do that in the jig. Because it makes sense. You don't want to brace it to make the thing stronger. And then if it is got a little bend in it, it's a lot harder to straighten. So he's going to come pick this up tomorrow, take it down to his shop and put it in his jig. And if it is a little bit bent, twisted, warped, he'll straighten it first. And then while it's in the jig, then he'll weld this on so it doesn't move and stays straight. So that's the current plan. He'll come around tomorrow. I might film a little bit of that, and hopefully he'll get some shots of straightening it. And let me know if it is bent. It may not be. I mean, we're only assuming this because of the other damage on the diff, but it could still be fairly straight. But we had axle seals missing, like the shock mount was snapped off and all the internal baffles ripped out of it. Like, it was pretty bad condition. So it's all right for now. We're going to just use it anyway. It will get through the first few months of this car. But yeah, shout out to guys from Prime Customs. They're going to come sort this out. Hopefully we'll get some content off them as well, and we'll see what they do there. Fuck. What do you reckon, mate?
Not good. Seen better days.
So is it Hazel from Prime Customs? Is that, that's the man? All right, so down in Brizzy, what are you mainly doing?
We specialise in like one-off builds, four-wheel drives, mostly Toyota stuff. Just started doing diff bracing and rebuilding, so this is a perfect thing that we can show off what we can do.
Yeah, it's funny because I had one of the boys send me a story of him doing, was it a cruiser diff?
Yeah,
80 series, and yeah, so you essentially throw a rod through here with a couple of like guides, and then it meets there, and if it hits, and doesn't go through, there's a bend. Yeah.
So we've got like a custom diff center that goes in here with the snout cut off the front. 2 machine pucks go in the carriers, and then in the axle seals we've got 2 aluminium machine pucks, and then a rod that's like perfectly round and straight.
And if there's a little bend, you sort of heat it and pull it down?
Yeah, we'll heat it or put it. I got a 20-ton press that we use, so one of the two.
Easy. All right. Well, hopefully you get some shots for me.
Yeah, well, hopefully it comes up straight.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. So like we were saying, do it before the bracing goes on, because this obviously strengthens it. And then if it is a bit bent, it's harder to pull straight with that on. So you kind of keep it in the jig and then weld that on. Yeah,
we'll put a bit of preload on it. So we'll press it this way while we weld the top. So yeah, it should be mint.
Legend, bro. Let's see how we go.
All right, g'day guys. We're down here in Brisbane now. I've picked up the diff from Sam, as you guys saw. We're gonna do a bit of a damage assessment. I've already went ahead and cleaned the whole diff. I've already stripped off all the paint on this backside, ready for some weld-through primer. So we've obviously got this damage here that we're gonna try and address. I've given it a light sand. I'm probably gonna fill a bit of that up with weld and clean it up a little bit nicer. We've also got the snapped shock mount. which is obviously been like welded together in the middle of the bush. So I'm gonna cut it. It's not even welded up in here if you have a look. I'm gonna cut that off like nice as we can and weld it back on even hopefully better than what's there. We'll give it a bit of a prep and it should come up pretty good. It's got a slight diff in it from memory, a slight bend in it. From memory, both wheels are bent back a little bit, but we'll put that in afterwards. So we'll get a bit of prep done we'll get a bit of prep done. We'll address this issue. We'll put some weld through primer. We'll tack on everything and we'll get it all straight.
All right, big shout out to Hazza for filming this. It's awesome that he's able to get some shots for you guys. Looks like he started off with the shock mount, ripping that off so we can weld it on proper again.
Rightio, so I went ahead and fully cleaned up all the shitty stick welding on that. We've also found a crack internally, so I'm gonna TIG all that up nice and hot, and then we're gonna tack this back on as square as we can get it, and then we're gonna go ahead and TIG that really hot and make sure it doesn't break off again. I also wanted to show you, which I'm a little bit concerned about, the axle seal is completely wedged in there. So we're gonna repair both ends of the axle seal, just very gently die grind, and hopefully the new axle seals go in. Went ahead and leveled out base point for the diff. These sit on about 3-degree angle, so we're gonna match that on that side and then we'll weld it all out. Rightio, so that's all the TIG welding done, as you can see on the inside, except for the very corner, we got pretty good bloody penetration, so I'm quite happy with that. We also, this Superior brace kit comes with shock braces, so this is all gonna get braced up way more than it was before. I can also see that this is bent now that we've welded that on, but I'll let this all cool down and we'll add in a bit of heat and square this up and weld this on. Oh yeah, she bent. Yeah, so by the looks of things, this side here has bent back like this. We'll put the touring bar on the other side and see what it's doing. This side's a little bit bent. As you see, it's a little bit tight. So exactly what I think's happened. So this side here is bent back like this. So yeah, it's not terrible. Like I could force it through, but it's not perfect.
A few moments later.
All right, so I got the diff pretty straight. Happy enough by the time I'm done welding. It should be pretty straight. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a bit of preload onto the diff. So I've got a 30-ton bottle jack here. We just marked where it was when we started. And we're gonna put about that much pre-tension on it. So a lot of force on the diff, but when I go to weld it, it should all come out nice and flat.
All right, it was time to weld on the Superior Engineering brace kit onto the diff. You can see he's prepped it all with proper weld through primer as well, which is good to see. And hey, big shout out to his cameraman. I don't know who he is, but look at him getting the mad shots. Bit of panning there, it's looking great. The diff's coming together, keen to get it back and get some paint on it.
Rightio guys, so this bar is machined within 0.3 of a millimeter of those pucks, so we're working with a very tight tolerance, probably even slightly better than factory. So yeah, let's have a look at how well it machined up. So ideally when I push this, we should have basically no sound. As you can see, nice and free flowing. But yeah, this thing is pretty well perfectly straight. We've done the bracing, we've done the knuckle braces. We fixed this shock mount that was stuffed back here. As you can see, we're gonna give that a little bit of sand and finish that off. But otherwise, yeah, this thing's done. Ready to go back into Sam's car and hopefully you can get a mint wheel alignment with no dramas. If you need something like this done, reach out. I'm here, Harrison at Prime Customs. We'll make it happen for you.
All right, this morning I got back the diff from Hazza and he's done an incredible job. Not only straightened, but the welding itself is really, really nice. So I've gone through and prepped all this ready for paint. I'm not gonna bother filming that, it's pretty standard. I'm gonna lick some black on there, but I can be sure now that when I go to do a wheel alignment and run this thing for the next few months, it could be even longer, that it's nice and straight, not bent, not gonna wear out my bearings and seals, because the last thing you want is your diff oil making its way into your CVs and then running out the wiper seals there. So this will be licked in black. I'm not gonna bother powder coating it or anything. I don't wanna spend the money there. We're just gonna put some probably some poly 400 on it, and it should tidy it up and make it look a little bit like the chassis. Big shout out to Hazza. He's done an awesome job. He did it really quick as well. So if you want to get your diff straightened, or if you're not sure if it's bent and it's out of the car, it's worth getting it checked. So go hit him up. Let's move on. Alrighty guys, finally a time that we've been preparing for a long time. The chassis is finally complete and ready for powder coating. We've come down to Sunshine Powder Coaters,
Dropping the chassis off this morning, so all the coil conversion stuff's been welded in. We've changed that transmission cross member, the mounts, the engine mounts, it's all been done. So I'm dropping it off now, but in probably 2 or 3 days, they're actually gonna do the sandblasting and powder coating itself. So we'll come back down and capture some of that process. But for now, we'll get it dropped off, and hopefully this thing will look brand new again very soon.
Okay, I've just ducked back down to the powder coaters in between the process here, and I managed to just get the chassis coming out of the oven for priming. So this is where Sunshine powder coaters really put the quality in. So they actually prime it first. I missed the stage of sandblasting, so they fully sandblast the chassis so it's really clean and will be adhered to. Then this primer goes on. Now this is literally just come out of the oven. It's baked in there, and as they pull it out, it's still hot, and then they immediately start laying the powder. That way, the black powder coating will kind of etch and melt itself into the primer, giving a really hard, solid finish. Another thing I noticed, all the bolt holes, I've had powder coating before where they kind of just blow straight into all your threads, and the issue is you get home and you can't get any of your bolts in, so every threaded hole they've actually plugged up. So when you get it home, you don't have to go through and tap out all your holes again. Your bolts will go straight back in. So that's something that I really, really like. Good news there, the black's going on now, then it's jumping back into the oven. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll come here. It would have baked overnight, pulled it out, set, and we can get this thing home and start assembling.
I just got to the powder coaters and seen the chassis. It looks so freaking good. Like, I can't believe it's the same thing. Anyway, we've got to quickly help the boys get it loaded on the trailer and then to give you guys a look. But pretty much when I rocked up this morning, it had just come out of the oven last night. And they were just unhooking it, getting it onto the crane. So we'll get this thing loaded and then give you guys a look. But man, it's a completely different chassis. Like, I don't think it's the same thing. It's brand new looking.
Well, holy cheese and biscuits, we're back in the shed and we've got the brand new freshly painted chassis here on the hoist. It has come up so good. The thing with powder coating is it gets into all the places that you probably wouldn't be able to get to if you did it with a spray gun. Like, because it's powder, it kind of goes up there and sticks on it. Now, I highly recommend, guys, if you're doing a restoration like this and you've gone to the full effort of completely stripping your chassis, it's honestly worth the time and money to get it powder coated. We did the same with the GQ, and this is so much more rugged, strong, will last a test of time more than just throwing a bit of black on there. So powder coating is the go-to, I reckon, if you're doing a proper restoration. The guys at Sunshine Powder Coaters, they have a big enough booth, they've got a big enough oven to get the job done properly. So if you want to go check that out, that'd be something I'd highly recommend. We obviously need to go through now and silicone up all the gaps in between the welds on all the fish plates, front and rear, the ones I've done, the ones Superior's done. Now, as much as I want to work on this thing right now, this is going to be next week's episode where we get all the diffs, brand new billet suspension kit from Superior Engineering into this thing and back onto its wheels. We're gonna move on. So what we're gonna do now is head down to 8-speed, and we're gonna be looking at what happens internally with the auto gearbox to allow it to go into a converted car.
The next day.
You're gonna make me do it all and you're gonna watch, aren't you?
Well, you know what they say, you can teach a man.
I can't be seen dead without SP tools in my hand. Alrighty guys, we've changed scenery a bit. As you've noticed, we're down at 8-speed. You can probably tell by the amount of gearboxes on the shelves and X5s in the car park. We've got Dan Buckner here, so we're gonna run through, well, not complete, it's not a how-to, we're just showing you what's involved. What are we doing inside here? So you gotta change out the board?
Yeah, so we're gonna cut out the factory TCU that runs the BMW box and solder in a new PCB so the TCU can do its job without having to be inside the gearbox.
Right. So this one's out of my X5, F15, so it'll be an E70, is that right?
It's F15, so it should be a 75 gearbox, I'd say.
There's a couple of different models.
I'll pop this and it'll make a
Hold
mess.
the transmission table straight on. So for the viewers, at what level do you, how much power can these handle, like torque-wise?
Well, BMW say 750 Newton meters.
Yeah.
So, 750 Newton meters, unless you like to live dangerously. And then, who cares?
Like, is it, because if it does break,
it'll just slip the clutches.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not like a manual where it extravagantly explodes and there's teeth everywhere. So you try it in the car. If it ends up slipping, losing gears, then you go and do your upgrade. But for now, we'll see how it goes. You can drive it gently. Like, I could make this last probably a while, but if I do want to tune up the Cummins and get a bit more power and start putting the foot down, then you end up slipping stuff.
This here is where the factory TCU is located, inside this little piece. So now we need to pull this off, the valve body, and get it out.
Now, obviously doing any automatic gearbox is a super daunting task. It's probably one of the first times I've ever seen one being pulled apart, but Dan and the boys down 8-Speed have literally done hundreds of these.
The next day.
I was like, I'm fucking sure this isn't that difficult to pull apart normally.
This is the bit people don't want to do at home.
Yeah, this bit sucks. So you get your little top case off, pop that off, and then this is the TCU case. Basically, you need to cut around the edges of here and open it up, so it ends up looking like this.
Right, it's like a tin can.
Yeah.
I did a thing. This is where it's getting a little bit tricky, bit surgeon-like here. All these little tiny steel rods, they're like little conductors. So pull all them off, and then with this little Dremel, just clean the tops of all these off so the solder sticks. So.
Now, Dan walked off at this point, and I think he forgot he was mic'd up because we did get a little bit of karaoke from him.
I need some time alone. Need to let it breathe.
Now, going through and doing this was very time consuming, but it was good to just lock in and get it done. It actually took me back to my university days. I did an electrical engineering degree and we did a few classes of mechatronics, programming and robotics, and we did a lot of this soldering and switchboard stuff. So it's pretty interesting to get that back. It was like riding a bike. I haven't forgotten how to do all this stuff, get the solder out, get the bits we needed wired on, and it was ready to try it out in the car. All right, there we are. The Turbolamic board is installed and soldered. It ain't pretty, but it's in and it works. So if we throw this gearbox in the car and it doesn't work, we know why. So I think now we jam some adhesive bloody epoxy stuff in these holes, and it pretty much seals it all up in there. Protects all the electrical stuff from shorting out and anything external. And then pretty sure it just goes back in the car. But we'll check with Buckner where we're at. That's it, soldered. Now, the boys did have a test bench on here with a bunch of fault codes that could come up. There's one in particular that pops up all the time. It's just a CAN bus error, but other than that, perfectly fine. So it was good to get back in the gearbox, basically ready to throw back into the cruiser. God, you know when it's like 9 o'clock at night and you're editing the video, ready for the next morning? That's what happened tonight, and I forgot to film an outro, but there's the gearbox. That is done, ready to go on the motor, which is under that blanket. But here is a pallet full of brand new suspension parts. There's the diff, the coil conversion diff. Here's a little sneak peek of some of the billet stuff going on this cruiser. So we do have the chassis ready for next week's episode. This is where it starts getting exciting as we actually put shiny bits on and this starts looking like a brand new car. Because at the moment, we've been dealing with an old bunky farm ute, but now everything's going to be spick and span. Oh, also, R32 is going in for a tune in 2 days time. I want to try and get an episode out on this as well. This thing is badass. It's got a VPW Warlord LSX. Look at that thing. I built these headers myself. It's an 8-into-1. Anyway, that's coming soon, but this thing is going to be sick on the track. Like if you ever wanted a sneak peek into my life, how chaotic it is behind the scenes, like we've got the R32 getting built. Obviously we're doing the 79. There's my 69 Chev back there that's getting a blown methanol LS. The 79 cab in that room getting the interior. Obviously got my new bike, we're doing mods to that. I've just put a brand new headlight on. My brother's doing an F100 build, that's complete chassis up as well.
There's always a million projects happening and they don't all get filmed, so busy boy. Anyway, getting sidetracked. There's always a million builds going on at once. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, comment down below what your favorite part was, like the video. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.